SwayamPrabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello everyone. So, we will now continue with the weave structures. So, satin weave, which is very commonly used weave for decorative purpose, but in protective textiles, depending on our requirement, we may think of using satin weave in some of the applications. Now, if we see satin weave, it is basically characterized by long floats of warp or weft yarn. So, here you can have a longer float, maybe more than 2-3 threads. Okay. It minimizes the interlacing yarn and maximizes the yarn surface. So, in plain weave, if we see, we have discussed this is interlacement of warp and weft equally interlaced. But if we want the warp yarn or weft yarn to be on one surface, say face surface. So, so in that case, say this is the warp yarn. So, I want the warp yarn should be weft yarn should be in the face particular color. So, this type of design we can create, so that the most of the warp yarn weft yarns are at the one surface. So, that gives a very nice design, like multi color two colors, one side there will be particular color, another side where the warp will be visible, in other side the weft will be visible, that may be in different colors. So, satin that means the maximize the yarn surface exposure in a particular surface side. So, example 6-end satin. So, production process of satin weave is basically all the warping and this beating of everything will remain same, but only difference will be the shading, the heels movement will be different. The select high quality filament yarn, often silk, polyester or nylon, to enhance smooth and lustrous structure surface, like due to the high float length, high float, this satin fabrics are very lustrous and it gives high end application, it gives the very nice aesthetics. The yarns for the warp is wound on a warp beam, similar to other type of weaves. Satin weave requires a long warp float. So, careful tension control is important in case of satin weave. The loom is programmed for the satin weave pattern, which typically involves 4 hardness, 5 or more, depending on the type of satin. Each hardness controls specific warp yarn to achieve correct float pattern. The weft yarn is inserted with the warp yarn according to the satin pattern. The floats, that section where the yarn passes over several perpendicular yarns. Okay. That is if the perpendicular yarn if we see it is a warp, that means weft yarn passes with a several warp yarn and which is float and which creates smooth and shiny surface, because shiny surface it is because of the regular reflection. In case of plain weave, the reflection will be scattered for every interlacing point, the light will get reflected at different direction. But for satin weave, as the floats are longer, so the lights will get reflected evenly and which will create a lustrous shiny structure, shiny surface, and the surfaces will be smooth surface. The woven fabric is removed from the loom and goes through the finishing process, that is normal for other designs, and this due to this the smooth surface, the contact area with our body, it is very high, because in the suppose this is our body, the contact area will be point at different points of the that is during the interlacement, but here due to the higher float, the contact area with our body will be high. So, these fabrics actually try to absorb heat from our body quickly. So, if you touch on woven fabric and another, if you touch the satin fabric, woven means plain woven fabric, the satin weave woven fabric will be cool in touch, because it absorbs heat quickly from our body. It is a smooth and lustrous surface. It has got high drapability due to the higher floats, due to the little bit easy movement of the threads, less durable because interlacements are less and the yarn may get pulled off easily. Distinct face and back, as I have mentioned, we can create different face and different back using this satin weave. Low wrinkling, flexible yarn usage, we can use different types of yarns, soft texture because of the higher float. Now, what are the advantages? It gives a luxurious and elegant appearance. So, for very high fashion garments, we use the satin weave. It gives the rich and elegant look, soft and fluid. Basically, it is a basic it has got very high nice drapability. It is soft in touch, making it perfect for flowing garment. So, where we need very nice draping and stylish drape. It resists creasing due to its smooth surface, fewer wrinkles. So, this satin garment, satin fabric will wrinkle less. The soft texture feels pleasant against the skin. So, because of the softness, high contact area and soft texture, the skin contact will be very pleasant. So, sometime in some cloth we use the satin as the inner garment, inner wear, where the float is maximum. So, we use the inner layer as a satin fabric. Smooth surface hide irregularities in the yarn, giving uniform look. Shiny surface gives a rich and glossy effect. As I have discussed, the shiny surface is due to the high float length, okay, and it gives the glossy effect, rich look. So, the limitations are basically the satin has got threads can come out easily, it is not that durable. So, long floats makes the fabric delicate, easily caught on sharp objects. So, they are for with any pins or hooks, it can be actually it can come out easily. Not as strong as plain big or twill, because the number of the interlacement. So, interlacement makes the fabric stable, okay, stable and strong. So, due to fewer interlacement, this satin fabrics are not as strong as this plain fabric, but for decorative application or for high fashion application we use satin weave. And smooth surface can be slippery, making cutting and stitching tricky. So, during the garmenting process, these fabrics are little bit tricky. Fingerprints, pins, water spots and stains are more visible in case on the shiny surface. So, that because this type of fabric, it is a very easily one, it can get stained, water spots. It is often costlier due to higher quality yarn. So, for satin we should use the higher quality yarn, because it is a float, we are using the in a surface, and that this type of, for that high quality yarns normally we have to use in case of satin. So, that is why it is becoming costlier and careful weaving is required. So, we may have to reduce the loom speed, which makes the fabric little bit expensive. Now, let us see the applications. The apparel and fashion industry, it is a widely used satin fabric for its luster and its glow. So, and home furnishing, it's due to its drape characteristics, it is used. Decorative applications, satin fabrics are widely used. Lining fabrics, protective workwear, we use satin, where heat reflection is important, or many other applications where we use the satin fabrics. Upholstery or interior design, where the luster is required. So, in interior design we use satin fabric, and costume and dance wear. So, in costume the lustrous fabric is in demand. So, there normally we do not use plain woven. Plain woven makes the fabric in dull in nature. So, for that we use, for costume and dance wear, we normally use a satin to give more reflection, more luster. Next is the herringbone weave, it is called broken twill. So, herringbone weave is there. So, herringbone weave is a special variant of the twill weave. In twill weave, what we have seen, it goes continuously in one direction, but here after certain distance the direction changes. once it from the left to right it goes upward and then again it comes downward. In this way the 12 weave goes and which creates a zigzag structure. So, V type shape pattern it is created. This is achieved by the direction of twill. We are reversing the direction of twill after a certain number of warp or weft. So, after certain distance, so we change the direction of the twill. So, this gives special effect on fabric, provides broken and chevron like appearance, similar to the skeleton of a herring fish. So, that is from there it is the name came, the herringbone name. Okay. So, production process it is basically begin with twill weave, common twill weave, 2 up 2 down or 3 up 3 down twill, common twill weave. Then this twill provides the diagonal line effect which will later be reversed. So, this twill line goes for some time, then it is reversed. On the loom, arrange the warp yarns in a twill weave. So, as the twill weave we arrange the warp yarn. So, similarly we arrange here the warp yarns. The weft yarns are interlaced to form a diagonal line. So, initially up to certain time it will form a diagonal line. After a fixed number of warp ends or weft peaks, the twill direction is reversed. This reversal switches the diagonal from left to right and then from right to left. Continuous reversing of this twill line characterized a V shaped zigzag effect, resembling the fish bone. So, woven fabric is taken off the loom and may undergo the finishing treatments. This is the overall process of production of herringbone weave. The characteristics is that it is characterized by the zigzag line, the distinctive zigzag pattern created by the reversing of twist direction, which is balanced structure due to the regular reversal. So, it is a balanced structure, so exactly same number of warp after warp or weft, this twill line will get a reversal, smooth surface similar to twill, but with more decorative appearance. So, twill line is a little bit monotonously moving from one direction to another direction, although it gives a very nice aesthetics, but here it will give more decorative appearance. Strong and firm structure like twill making long lasting. Like twill, it is having also having a good drape and flexibility and comfortable for tailored garments. Here it is more decorative than twill. So, in twill line, as I have mentioned, the lines are going diagonally, okay. But here it is more decorative line. So, we can get in the broken diagonal line. The advantages here, we can get the zigzag design adding decorative and stylish look. Okay. This chevron design gives basically decorative and stylish look. It retains strength of twill weave, making it resistant to wear and tear. Basically, it is nothing but a twill weave. So, the strength will be remaining there, and due to the floats, the wear or tear resistance will be high. So, where it is resistant to wear and tear. So, due to the rubbing and all other different activities, these fabrics are resistant to all this. The reversal of twill lines reduces the twisting and skewing. Okay. So, that is all, it is a balanced fabric, more giving better dimensional stability. So, if line goes in diagonally, sometimes it creates some skewing action, skewing effect, but as the lines are changing in zigzag fashion. So, it gives one balancing effect. So, other direction it gives, suppose in one direction it gives the skewing effect in one direction or twisting in one direction, but the twill line in other direction it actually balances this skewing or twisting tendency. So, that is reversal of twist lines, which actually reduces the these effects, twisting or skewing effect. It provides flexibility and drape like twill weave, and which makes it comfortable for tailored garment. The alternating light and dark effect of yarn enhance the 3D look. So, it will give alternating light and dark effect of yarn. So, it gives the 3D look of the fabric. So, if we see the limitations, it is a relatively complex weave than your twill weave, higher production cost due to the lower production rate and complex machine setup, heavier fabrics are produced. Okay. We cannot have the lighter fabric in case of this herringbone because of the double sided broken twill effect. So, we can only produce the heavier fabric. Pattern matching is difficult, which is important. So, if we make this fabric, so like if we produce we cannot actually design or produce fabric based on the size, pattern size. So, that matching of the pattern at different if it is not uniform. So, matching of pattern will be a little bit difficult. Okay. Like I will tell, suppose in twill weave, this is the twill weave, we can cut the fabric, this is the fabric we are cutting. Okay. So, that will be simpler, but if this type of herringbone broken twill is there, if we try to match the pattern. So, one pattern will be like this, next fabric, next piece will be in this fashion. So, the pattern will be matching will be very difficult. Limited stretch, risk of snagging. So, because the fact is that we have float length, this is true for other like is twill also. So, applications of herringbone weave, apparel like suits, blazer, coats, jackets, they are it is very commonly used for all these applications, apparel and accessories, scarves, ties, caps, handbags, there we use this herringbone effect. So, very decorative handbag very commonly used. Home textiles and upholstery, sofa cover or chair upholstery, curtains, cushion cover. So, there we use the herringbone weave. Footwear we use very commonly, boots, shoes, outerwear, luxury and heritage fabrics we use herringbone weave. Now, our next design is that weave is that honeycomb weave. Honeycomb weave is used for decorative purpose, but it is for protective garment we can also use the honeycomb weave. This is honeycomb. This fabric is design is created characterized by the shell which resembles the honeycomb shell. Okay. So, that is why the name came, this type of shell structure will be created. The honeycomb weave is a decorative fabric structure. It creates a textured 3-dimensional surface resembling the hexagonal cells of this cells are 3-dimensional, it will be created. The edges will be protruding upward and these are the cells. This is 3-dimensional structures will be created. This effect is achieved by combining plain weave, twill weave and float pattern. So, this weaves are combined, okay, to create this honeycomb weave. If you see the production process here, the loom is set up with warp yarns similar to other type of weaves. The yarn count, that is yarn linear density and yarn diameter is chosen based on whether the fine or bold honeycomb texture is needed. if it is the bold honeycomb texture is required. So, we use the little bit coarser yarn. Honeycomb weave is designed using a combination of plain weave, twill and long floats. These interlacing threads are arranged so that some threads are pulled tight. Okay. So, some threads will be pulled tight, accordingly for that reason the 3-dimensional effects will be created. As weaving progresses, the alternation of tight and loose interlacing produces cell like structure. Okay. So, loose yarns, tight yarns will form the cells, and loose yarn will go at the bottom. So, that is why this loose interlacing produces cell like structure. This resembles honeycomb. So, tight and loose yarns, alternate tight and loose yarns are required to create this type of honeycomb structure. These cells may appear hexagonal, square or diamond shape depending on the weave draft. So, that depending on our weave, so we can create different types of diagonal shape, that means it may be hexagonal, maybe square, maybe. So, that because here the main requirement is that we have to have one tight, alternately tight and loose interlacing. The design is repeated over the fabric width and length to create continuous honeycomb effect. So, lengthwise, suppose it is a hexagonal. Now, in lengthwise it will get repeated, even in widthwise also it will get repeated like this. So, in this way, in this pattern it will go. Okay. So, we can see the honeycomb here. So, this is lengthwise or widthwise, it gets repeated. Now, washing finishing treatment to enhance the 3D texture. So, depending we can give different types of finishing treatment to enhance this 3D effect, making honeycomb cell more prominent, because if the washing and finishing treatment is given. So, that may this shrinkage may take place, the yarns with the tight yarns. So, that way it will enhance the 3D effect. So, the characteristics, if we see here, 3D cell like surface resembles honeycomb formed by recessed and raised areas. So, there will be a raised area and there will be recessed area. So, that will form the 3D cell, and which is the unique in honeycomb structure. It is very absorbent due to loose structure and large surface area. Due to the 3D surface, like this type of large surface area, it absorbs the liquid very quickly and highly absorbent. it feels soft, cushioned due to the 3D structure, bulky, making it comfortable to use in household textile like honeycomb weave is very common in case of the towels, because due to this loose structure it absorbs water quickly. Recessed, that is pockets, allow the good breathability, insulation and trapping air within the fabric. Now, this due to this type of recessed structure, this type of pockets, it has been observed that the honeycomb design, if we use in as a outer layer for fire protective clothing, it gives very good thermal insulation and thermal protective performance is enhanced. It is higher than other type of fabric like your ripstop or plain woven or twill. So, that research study it shows this trend. So, honeycomb fabric can be used as the outer layer of fire protective clothing. So, this is not as strong as plain or twill weave because of long float, but adequate for its actually intended use. But as far as the tear strength is concerned, honeycomb weave will give better tear strength than plain weave because of the high float and thread movement. Decorative and attractive with a geometrical cellular design. So, it is we can use for decorative application. Loose construction gives flexible compared to the stiffer plain weave and high tear strength. The limitations are that here the long floats and recessed area makes it weaker than plain and twill weave. So, because of the long float and loose structure, relatively loose structure, it is a little bit weaker than the plain weave and twill weave, and the structural integrity is a little bit less than the plain and twill weave. This is mainly due to the lace interlacement and the cell structure. Raised texture is prone to snagging and wear, especially in coarse use. So, the raised portion sometimes gets snagged by some sharp objects or some hooks, or so more difficult and time consuming to weave due to the 3D pattern, increasing production cost. So, that is a weave 3D that weave pattern will be little bit difficult, and also due to this pattern the speed we cannot produce at a very high speed. So, cost of production is a little bit higher. It can be bulky, which may not be suitable for all garments. So, for all garments it is not possible, only for some specialized garments like protective textiles we can use. Loose construction may lead to shrinkage or distortion after washing if not properly finished. So, that because you have to give some proper finishing. so that otherwise it will get distorted. After washing, like most woven fabrics, it has minimal natural elasticity unless blend with the stretch fibers. So, it is a this limitation is not mainly for the honeycomb weave, this is for all other weave. So, if we use some stretch fiber, then only natural elasticity will be there, otherwise this is very common for all other weave. Now, let us see the applications of the honeycomb weave. So, the towel and bath textile we use this honeycomb weave because of the higher moisture absorption and loose structure, fire protective outer layer fabric. So, this is used for fire protection, as I have mentioned, the research has proved that for outer layer in fire protective clothing we can use this honeycomb weave, which will give the higher thermal protective performance, which due to the cell structure it may be possible the heat may be trapped or and reflected from the outer layer, which gives the higher protection level. So, it can be used in blankets or quilts, because here the due to the cell structure their air entrapment will be more and gives the warmth. Home textiles for decorative purposes, and different garments. Normal garments we do not use, for very special decorative garments the honeycomb weave is used, because this fabric is little bit heavier. Cleaning and utility cloth, honeycomb is definitely used because of it is highly absorbent, because due to their structure, loose structure and shell type structure, the water absorbency will be high. And luxurious fabrics, different types of fashion clothing or luxury fabrics, we can use this honeycomb weave. Now, next design is the Ripstop fabric. Ripstop is widely used for different protective textiles due to its very high tear resistance. Now, this is the Ripstop fabric design. Now, it is basically nothing but one, it is a reinforced woven fabric. So, reinforced threads are imparted within the woven structure. So, to create the fabric very strong, okay, and it is a high tear strength. So, it is basically Ripstop, the name comes from stopping the rip, rip means tearing. Okay. So, designed to resist tearing and ripping out. So, if we try to tear or rip the fabric, so that it will stop, and this is stopped by the reinforced yarn. Okay. So, it is prepared by interweaving thicker and stronger threads at a regular interval in a crochet pattern within the lighter fabric. So, without increasing the weight, if we want to enhance the strength, tear strength, okay, then we can use the stronger yarn. So, this is the stronger yarns are used. These are the stronger yarn. Now, in between normal yarns patterns will be there, these are the normal yarns, green colors are normal yarn. So, at certain interval we can use the stronger yarn, this type of structures will be there. So, these stronger yarns will prevent the tear to occur. Okay. So, it will stop the tearing or ripping. Okay. So, for high tear strength we use this type of structure. So, this provides fabrics with a unique grid like structure. So, this will form a grid. You can see here there will be thicker yarn which will form a grid type of pattern. The characteristics, if we try to see here, it stops small tear from spreading due to reinforced threads. So, tearing basically starts from small some snaps, okay, small tears, and it gets propagated, but here reinforcing threads that stops propagation. Okay. So, we have to any somewhere it is some damage is there, and normal fabric it gets after apply, when the load is applied it gets propagated, but in Ripstop due to the this reinforcement threads it gets stopped there, it does not get propagated. So, that is why for outer garment of outerwear of any protective textile. So, be it fire protective or maybe any work wear. So, there the fabric should not fail due to the tearing. Okay. So, for these applications we use Ripstop fabric. The main fabric remains lightweight despite adding strength. So, what we are trying here, we are trying to get a lightweight, high strength, high actually this higher strength, lightweight, high tear strength, that we are creating using this Ripstop design. The reinforced grid improves the overall fabric strength. So, not only the tear strength, it will improve the overall even tensile strength, it can enhance. Okay. The crochet pattern is visible on the surface. So, we can get this type of pattern, Ripstop pattern. It maintains flexibility for clothing and any type of protective gear. So, it remains flexible. So, and this characteristics often enhanced with the coating. So, that flexibility, different types of reinforcement characteristics can be enhanced by coating. The advantages, if we see here, despite the reinforcement threads, the main fabric remains lightweight, okay, and flexible. So, because the reinforcement threads are at certain distance. So, main fabrics are with the finer threads lighter, it will remain lighter. So, what we are getting here? We are getting flexibility, we are getting lightweight, we are getting high strength, we are getting high tear strength. So, this fabric has got some unique nature, the stronger than standard woven fabric due to the presence of reinforcement threads, at the same for same weight due to cross hatch pattern. Can withstand rough use and repeated stress without significant damage. So, because the presence of reinforcement, so repeated applications where the rubbing and all the, so for protective garment or for workwear, industrial workwear. So, for those these applications we can use this ripstop fabric. So, it is resistant to distortion, stretching and wrinkling. Wrinkling is because of the due to the reinforced threads, it and stretching is also it is not there, because all this when we by incorporation of reinforced thread. So, we get the stability in the structure. The reinforced grid prevents small tears from spreading and making very durable. So, this is very important for the workwear clothing. So, these fabrics can be coated or laminated to provide additional water and wind resistance. So, this ripstop fabric, if we coat it, so we will enhance this its characteristics, its performance. So, if we want the water resistance or wind resistance, and at the same time the stronger fabric with a flexibility and it is a durable fabric. So, ripstop fabric is very useful in those applications. Now, the limitations, because it is a we need a special design. So, more expensive to produce than the standard woven fabrics due to reinforced threads, and specialized weaving is required. So, ripstop we need a specialized weaving and reinforced the expensive threads we have to use there, and the visible this grid pattern may not be desirable for fashion or formal clothing. So, this will give us one visible grid pattern, but for workwear or protective garment this is very useful. The ripstop fabrics are widely used for protective garment, offers little natural elasticity unless blended with stretch or fibers like spandex or some other elastomeric fiber, which is true for all other woven structure. Weaving process is more complex than the regular fabric. So, in regular fabric we need only one set of warp and one set of weft, okay. But here we need the two different types of warp yarn, and main problem here is that in when the we are using one stronger yarn along with the normal yarn. This stronger yarns, this load elongation characteristics, elastic characteristics or tensile behavior will be entirely different than the normal yarn. Okay. This is the stronger yarn, stronger yarn, and it will be entirely different from the normal yarn. So, during the shade formation, these yarns will behave differently. So, that will give a complex weaving process, and also in the weft after certain yarn, okay, we require certain pattern. So, that precise placement of reinforcement yarns are there in the during the warp formation and during the weft insertion. So, that makes the weaving process little bit complex. Now, if we see the applications of Ripstop fabrics, mainly these fabrics are used for protective textiles, outdoor or military gear, tents, backpacks, jackets, parachutes, where chances of tear is there. Okay. In backpack, it is very commonly used backpack fabric, this Ripstop, tents, jackets, parachutes. So, there basically in all the applications we will see we need to stop the tear. So, protective clothing, workwear, uniform and rainwear we use this, because everywhere we need higher tear strength. Sportswear, activewear we use, because it gives strength with a lighter weight. Luggage, flags, banners. So, you see the luggage or banners or flags, there it is actually we need lighter weight, but at the same time it is actually counteract different types of loading pattern, because with lighter weight and like your tearing or maybe different type of repeated loading patterns are there. We need a strong and lighter fabric. For those we use Ripstop fabric like kites, sails and other lightweight application, where we need greater strength and less that is tear tendency. So, there we need this Ripstop fabric in the sail. So, we need a lighter fabric, but at the same time there should not be tear propagation, and strong fabric we need. So, we will stop here, we will continue with this discussion in the next session. Till then, thank you.